host of the Gridiron.
Fourth and goal to go with the 2. 34 seconds left to go in the ball game. This is the play right now. Takes the snap. Targeted goes in. Targeted all alone. And the quarterback keeps. Wow, what a call. Nobody touched him.
This one I like. I like this one. This is Abdul goes straight up anti-Saquon, right? Saquon now, of course, because Saquon was born and raised in Pennsylvania, right? So, that was one of the things that Howie Roseman, obviously, and he went to Penn State. So Howie Roseman, one of the things that, when he talked to Saquon, he picked the phone up and said, hey, you want to come home? It's kind of gave him the home feel. And, we'll welcome you with open arms and all that stuff and everything. If you want to leave, we'll sign you. Right? When you want to come home, right? But apparently, good old Abdul doesn't quite think that way, right? He's a little anti-Saquon here. He's not picking on Saquon, but said Abdul Carter goes full anti-Saquon while dropping a major draft hint. So, and I think is going to how it's going to work out. Lambeau Field might be 990 miles from MetLife Stadium, but Abdul Carter sounded like a guy who's already home. Penn State edge rusher and Philly native was asked by Ryan Novozinsky of NJ Advanced Media how he'd handle getting drafted by the Giants, his childhood team's bitter rival. Without skipping a beat, he delivered the kind of line he can instantly win over a fan base and turn heads in New York. Once I go to New York, I'm all New York, Carter said. I'm going to have to leave Philly behind. Yeah, I like to hear that. First, wow, what a draft nugget. Tell us you're getting drafted by the Giants without telling us. Second, after the sting of losing Saquon to the Eagles just one offseason ago, that quote hit like a cold drink on a hot day. In fact, Carter's mindset feels like the anti-Saquon, putting Philly in the rear view and looking forward to New York. Abdul Carter will have Giant fans running through a wall. Giants fans are still sore about Saquon's leaving. Yep. The franchise's icon exit will be talked about for, they got decades here. I'll say centuries. Yeah. He joined the Eagles and then ran for over 2,000 yards, right? All that the season. Fans booed, tweeted, debated, and ultimately watched their favorite player put on one of the greatest seasons the NFL has ever seen. It was a constant slap in the face. Now, Giants are staring at a potential pick who's not only elite on the field, but willing to switch fandom allegiances off it to give New York everything he has and more. Carter didn't hide his excitement about a possible Giants future. It'll be a blessing to play with those guys, he said, referencing Brian Burns and Kayvon. I'm going to come compete and we'll form the best pass rush in the league. Best in the league, you say? Sort of like when Lawrence Taylor was around. It's not like Carter posted a social media picture of him while visiting the Giants facility or anything like that. There was. He posted something and he had a picture of Lawrence Taylor there. Right. He wants New York. He wants to follow in Taylor's footsteps. He wants to be the reason championships are won. That's great news because in the eyes of many, he should be the number 3 overall pick. And the Eagles have never had anything even remotely close to a Lawrence Taylor. I mean, as far as a linebacker, they've had Reggie White, but as far as a linebacker, nothing even close. Giants have a decision to make Thursday night. Travis Hunter, if he's around, and Shedeur Sanders, if he's also around, remain options. But Carter, he's ready for the Big Apple. Big Ten Defensive Player of the Year, 12 sacks, consensus All-American, the second highest pass rush grade in the country, a ceiling some scouts believe is the highest in the draft. Now, let's not also forget, too, right, is that, his first 2 seasons, okay, with Penn State, he was kind of like an off-ball linebacker, right? This past season was his first year as a defensive end, edge rusher, whatever you want to call him. It was his first season, right? So, he chances are, the needle's pointing up, right, on him. When asked about fitting into a crowded edge room, Carter didn't flinch. You're never going to have enough pass rushers. You got that right, brother. That's how championships are won. He's not wrong. Philly got after Patrick Mahomes all night in the Super Bowl, ultimately sealing the Chiefs' fate. And let's not forget, too, when the Chiefs lost to the Bucs, whatever it was, a few years ago, Tom Brady's Super Bowl win with the Bucs. Now, to be fair, the Chiefs had a couple of offensive linemen injured who did not play in that game. I believe it was their tackles. But in that game, Mahomes was running for his life the whole time. And they scored, 3 field goals. They scored 9 points. They couldn't even score a touchdown. You got Patrick Mahomes there, right? And all he did was run for his life, and they couldn't even score a touchdown. That's the power of a good pass rush, right? You get enough guys in there rushing the passer, anybody's mortal. You look at Patrick Mahomes, right? General Manager Joe Shane seems to agree. We would find a way, he said last week when asked about fitting Carter into Shane Bowen's defense. You've got good football players. You figure it out. But once again, let's not also forget, too, is that if they do got Carter, they got Burns. If they draft Carter, Kayvon is expendable. So that's going to be something very interesting to watch, too, to follow. Because if they don't trade Kayvon in the draft, by May 1st, they have to declare if they're going to pick up his 5th-year option or not. So right after the draft's over, a few days after the draft's over, they got to say, we're going to pick up his 5th-year option or not. That'll be very interesting. If they do pick up his 5th-year option, they're going to have some good pass rushers. Let me tell you what. But they're going to start getting pretty expensive, though, too. So Giants want to make a statement, not just on the field, but in the locker room. They draft Carter, the guy who's willing to trade childhood memories, fandom, and a Philly roots for a shot in New York. The guy willing to trade Kelly Green for bluer skies, shall I say. The anti-Saquon is ready. Let's see if the Giants are too. You got that right. Get Carter. Well, I hope they get Carter. That's what I think. I think they're taking Carter. If he's there, you take the guy pretty much as a can't miss prospect, and you add him to your team, right? Yeah, if the Giants think in the hearts of their hearts, or the bottom of the depths of their heart, and all that Shedeur Sanders is worth the 3rd overall pick, it don't matter what I think. Doesn't matter what Mel Kiper Jr. Doesn't matter what the Lucky Charms leprechaun thinks. Doesn't Santa Claus thinks. Doesn't matter. If they think that Shedeur Sanders is worth the number 3 overall pick, they go get him. Plain and simple. But what they can't do especially at number 3, is you can't reach. Right? If they don't think he's worth the number 3 overall pick, you got to take the best player available. And it just happens to be that the best player available, quite possibly, is either going to be Hunter or Carter. 2 pretty much can't miss prospects, right? And if nothing else, if they don't get themselves a quarterback in the first round, they added themselves a real good, fantastic player. Just think. What they've done this season, right? If we don't get rid of Kayvon, if we keep him, right, for this season, right? We have 3 good edge rushers. I would still love to see him get a defensive tackle, a real good one. Now, one of these guys we got in free agency, got a real good, in the 2nd or 3rd round, good defensive tackle, put next to Sexy Dexy. But if they get Carter, right, and they got a Debo, a cornerback, and they got Holland at safety, we really, that's 3 really good players we've added to the defense, right? And let's not forget, the defense had some shaky moments last year, and sometimes their run game defense was not very super spectacular. But how often does the offense help out? I mean, I've said this, I don't know how many times. It's everything's relative. Theory of relativity. Einstein's theory of relativity. Everything is relative. If you got a good offense, obviously a good offense has the strike capability, right? I mean, drop back and you're on 25-yard line, you hit somebody deep down the sideline, he takes it for a touchdown. Cool. Hey, we all love that. But I mean, if you got a good offense that can actually keep the ball, gain some first downs, chew up the clock, where's your defense at? They're on the sideline drinking Kool-Aid. How many yards, how many touchdowns, how many pass completions are they giving up? None. Because why? Because they're on the sideline. Because you got a good offense, right? I mean, well, look with the Eagles, right? Turn around and hand the ball to Saquon, right? He just runs and runs and runs. The clock keeps tick, 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 right? The Eagles keep the ball. They move the ball. They score some points. The defense is on the sideline. It's like, wow, the defense don't give up any points. Wow, it's an unbelievable defense. Wow. Well, it's because they're never on the field. I wouldn't, if I was on the defense, if we had 11 of me on the Giants defense and I was never on the field, I'm 61. That 61-year-old, they got 11 61-year-old guys on the Giants defense. They're the best in football, baby. I haven't given up a point all year. Well, yeah, if I'm not on the field, I'm not giving up any points. But when our offense goes 1, 2, 3 punt, after a while, you're probably going to give up some points if you can't move the ball. We're scoring 15 points a game. So if we ever actually have an offense that can keep the ball for any period of time, right? The defense is on the sideline, right? Resting up, right? And obviously you're not giving up first downs or touchdowns, nothing like that, right? So, but we've really done a good job of adding some, not question, add some good talent to the defense this year. I said the only thing that I'm kind of missing, right, that I would really like would be if they could add a defensive tackle, maybe in the second or third round of the draft, right? Somebody put next to Sexy, especially somebody who can maybe consume some blockers, shall I say, right? Especially in the run game, because even when we had Sexy in there, there was times we were just getting gashed in the run game, and that's pretty embarrassing.